think Italians have picked their mid yet on Timber there, who does pretty well against Meepo. I love it when I see a Meepo. We know it's going to be an interesting game. I've casted a lot of Meepo, so I know a lot of the intricacies of the hero. He's probably going to rush in Ogniums, at least I'd assume. The real question is he going to go if he's going to go Tranquil Boots, if he's going to go Treads, or he's going to go Brown until he gets Travels, which is a popular build. Probably going to get a Blink Digger, although some people don't value it as much as others. There's a lot of potential there, and Silencer was a great ban by the Italians because Silencer shuts down a lot of these heroes. Puck, another really powerful ban, but I don't know if they could run Puck very well. Actually, Puck would definitely work in their lineup. Faceless Void, Chronosphere, followed up by an Overgrowth by Treant is a lot of CC, and they grabbed the Gyrocopter, which really means that they could lane a lot of different ways. I think it's probably going to be either safe lane solo or mid Gyrocopter. It's definitely going to be a tri-lane with the Faceless Void. It's possible they could run Void mid. It's something that has kind of been happening in the amateur community lately. Playing him less as a carry and more as an initiator, just getting ult, and some people even run Ogni's Refresher, so just for that huge lockdown. And that paired with a lot of damage from Macropire, called on from the Gyrocopter, and various other ways, that's a lot of damage, especially when you potentially lock down a huge quantity of people for 14 seconds. And we'll see if either team goes for a very early aggression with a smoke.
This should be interesting.
And let's see what happens. Both teams are going to go out, and we see a smoke being picked up by both teams. Actually, no, both coming out on the Dire, which is the Italians. We have two smokes, actually. I don't know if they're going to use them early. They're just going to save them for some early rotations. A lot of things could happen, but Krabba are grouped up heading into the enemy jungle and looking to probably early game. And actually, Meepo does have a smoke on him, so let's see if they use it here. They do. They're looking to be aggressive early, and we'll see how this goes for them. Italians kind of spread out. If this Jakiro gets caught out, it could mean really bad news for him. Meepo doesn't have a skill yet, so he could grab Earthbind. Jakiro might be very lucky in that he's going to be coming right behind them. They're revealed they know they know someone's around, and they're trying to find him right now. And they're going to find Void. Void has Time Walk, so he's not the ideal target to go on. He's going to get out, but Jakiro in the background is Nightmare. This should be a kill on him. This should be First Blood here. Some slows coming out on him, but he gets a living armor. I don't think it's going to be enough. I think this is going to be First Blood. First Blood going to the Meepo, a pretty big deal in that he already has 2 Ring of Protections, which I think means he's going to go Basilisk and Tranks. Very interesting build. You don't see Basilisk picked up there often anymore, just because he needs Ognium so bad that going Bazzy, going Vladimir's isn't as viable anymore, because you don't get the stat share from your extra clones unless you have Ogniums, which is kind of a problem. And it's an offensive tri-lane. This is what we saw last time coming out of Krabba. Last time they were pretty dominant with the Ancient Apparition in the tri-lane, so we'll see how this goes for them. We have Faceless Void, who isn't the best early game in terms of fighting. So that paired with Jakiro and Treant, none of these heroes necessarily excel in this situation. Jakiro is very good early game in terms of damage and a little bit of CC from Ice Path, but will it be enough without any more hard CC? Sure, we can have a Leech Seed coming out, we can have Living Armor, but I'm not really so sure. But nice warding coming out by Italians. They're making sure that they have vision in case the Krabba comes into the jungle to make a play on the actually, did they ward their own camp here? They did. They warded their own small camp, which is going to prevent them from pulling it. A pretty interesting play on their part. I'm not sure I quite understand it personally, but at least they have vision here. They know they can catch this Ancient Apparition pushing out, being a little aggressive back there, and Meeple's doing pretty well for himself. Let's take a look at the last hits. Right now we have Nikes on top, or Lifestealer, sorry, at top at 9, followed by Meeple with 7. Gyrocopter only has 5 opposed to the Meepo 7, you know, not too far behind, only 2. But Meepo just pops himself up to 9 with those poofs on the creeps under tower, and now he's in the lead. So we have all 3 of the leaders in terms of last hits on Krabba's side. So obviously the lane phase is going pretty well for them early. Bat Rider against Timbersaw. It's kind of a passive lane in that Bat Rider can't really do that much to Timbersaw. Timbersaw can kind of chain himself out of any harmful positions, but at the same time he can also have reactive armor, so any right-click harass isn't really worth it because you're just going to give him regen and armor. But if he gets enough napalm stacks on him, it could be an issue. And that liquid napalm or liquid fire is doing quite a bit of harass onto this lifestealer. And Treant getting an early point in Nature's Guise is going to be pretty interesting. Maybe they'll try to do some very aggressive tactics with that. Because usually you'd see Treant get Leech Seed second, especially in Tri-Lane. It's very effective heals for 3 people and a slow and damage, which is obviously always a plus. And like Rudecast said in chat, if we get 15 followers by the end of this run, we will have a little giveaway with some items that, you know, it's not a lot. We don't have a lot to offer currently, but we're trying to save our things because during the actual tournament we're going to be giving away. But we do have the Bat Rider, probably going to get a solo kill. Nice self pop, but I don't think this will be enough. Yeah, that's a solo kill for Bat Rider and Timber, which I just got done saying I didn't think was really going to happen. But just great play on the Bat Rider, assessing that he could do just enough damage under the tower to get the kill, and I think Timber just didn't think it was really possible to get solo killed with, you know, an early point in reactive armor.
In case you weren't paying attention.
And Meepo coming mid gets a Earthbind on the boy, but he'll just jump out of that. Proof doesn't do anything, and this is what, you know, Meepo can kind of do early. He's level 4, Gyro's level 5, so that maybe did cost him a little bit in terms of experience, and Gyrocopter's actually passed up the Meepo now, sitting at 17 last hits, opposed to the Meepo's 13, but Lifestealer will still come out top at 19. And let's check out the net worth here. Gyro, obviously, well, not obviously, but he's in the lead. It's kind of a duel between him and Lifestealer, who's hopping back, and we're going to see. Bat Rider has an Invis, might be looking to go on the Gyro mid. If they get an Earthbind, and does he have a point in Flame Break? That's the real question here. He does not, so they're not going to knock him back. It's going to be pretty hard to get a kill here, but an Earthbind connects. They're going to start stacking up the Napalm. I think this is going to be a kill. That's a kill. 3 kills going the way of Krabba. They're definitely securing the early game, and right now Italians don't really have an answer, but that's not to say they can't come back. They have a very potent lineup, especially when some of these ults start coming out. Obviously Chronosphere, Macropyre is great damage. Timbersaw is able to just be crucial with some Chakram, which does pure damage, an incredible amount of pure damage actually if you use it correctly. It's going to be tough for Krabba in the mid game, but if they get a big enough of a lead, I think it could be very useful. And this is a very good defensive Tri-Lane in that what can they really do against it? It's very difficult for them to get a kill because, you know, they have Living Arm, they have Nature's Guise, they have Liquid Fire, which slows attack speed by quite a degree, and that on the Lifestealer kind of makes him unable to put a lot of hurt on someone with his right clicks. And obviously Time Walk, which is a slow and an escape at the same time. Meepo is going to TP in though, and they're probably going to look to go on this, make a play and secure themselves a kill. But at the same time, you've got Gyrocopter farming away whilst they are doing this. So let's check out the last hits again, and we have Gyrocopter trying to catch up with Meepo here. He's at 20, Meepo at 22. Timber having only 4 last hits. This Bat Rider doing a very good job of zoning him out. I didn't think Timber would have such an issue. Oh, here we go. Proof damage about to come out on the Meepos. Double Earthbinds again. Very good play by this Meepo, and they get the kill on the Faceless, which is obviously the highest priority target. Treant shouldn't have an issue here, but 5 kills without an answer here, going the way of Krabba. We knew Krabba was an aggressive team, but this is really superb play coming out by them, just asserting themselves in every lane, and finding a kill both top, mid, and bottom, and obviously it being a double kill top. It's really impressive in the way the rotations coming out, the bottom solo and the Bat Rider going mid, the mid coming top twice now. What can you say? It's just good play. And nothing too surprising in terms of items here. Ancient Apparition does have his boots already, which I believe he's at position 5. No, actually Bane is at position 5, so he doesn't have his boots yet. Ancient Apparition taking to position 4. And if you're not familiar with positions, generally a team of Dota consists of 5 players, and you rank them in their farm position. Like your position 1 is your player who's going to get the most farm, and it's kind of like rank 1. And that would be the lifestealer on the term of Krabba. Generally, it's called your safe lane carry or your safe lane farm, but he's in an aggressive position, so he's top lane, but he's still their highest priority farm hero in that they're giving him the last hits top, and as you can see, he's the highest last hits in the entire game. And then position 2 is pretty much always your mid, because he's able to get mid, which is, if he's playing well and winning the lane, he obviously gets a lot of last hits mid, and it's a lot of the kills that bring him farm as well. Position 3 is generally your off lane, always, or primarily a solo, not always, and that's the bat rider right now for Krabba. On the inverse, we have Faceless at 1, Gyrocopter at 2, and Timber on 3 for Italians. And Meepo securing a kill mid, sorry for missing that. I did catch First Blood though, which I sometimes miss, so at least I got that. I'm bound to miss 1 or 2, but here we've got Meepo with Tranquils, a Basilisk Ring, and almost 2,000 gold now. He's going to actually get 2,000 after these poofs. That's a lot of gold for 8 minutes for a Meepo. Let's see the net worth here. Meepo has actually been bugged lately in terms of net worth, so I don't think that's accurate at 2,000, but it could be, knowing that the Gyrocopter is just above. But Meepo's already got 4 kills and quite a few last hits at 33, so I think that's inaccurate. I think that's the bug we've been seeing lately with Meepo. But it's kind of an annoying bug because Meepo's a hero. It's very interesting to see his last hits, as he's a very aggressive hero and able to get a lot of last hits, and that's really unfortunate for Trant. He's hoping to regain some map control in putting a sentry down there and getting a kill, or not getting a kill, but killing their ward, but they are one step ahead of him with their own sentry down, and these cool little Ocula the Observers, very cool wards, but it's a little bit unfortunate for them. They just can't really find footing right now, and it's not to say that they're not playing well. This is the first time going up against Team Krabba, and sometimes you just can't find footing against an opponent you're not familiar with, especially when they're as aggressive as this. So it's understandable that the early game has kind of spiraled for them, but what really matters now is if they're able to recover. If they're able to get these supports some levels, like this Chikuro's still level 3, Bane and Ancient Apparition both 5, so that's a huge discrepancy in support levels. And Void only 5, which what is nice. Hey, nice actually only 5 too, so it shows that they're evening out the experience gain top, which you kind of have to do as aggressive supports, or aggressive tri-lane, is kind of get that even. And Meepo has 1 Meepo bottom. It's going to be hard for them to get a kill on this. And there they go, he has an early Blink Dagger. Wow, I didn't realize that was the pickup he was going to go for. Most of the time you don't see Meeples grab a Blink until they have Ogdens, but that's obviously not the case with Mozart, who's just gunning for it. But Gyro's going to put some pressure on the mid tower to make the trade. And, Batrider kind of pulling these creeps away, forcing the Timbersaw back behind his tower. And right now, they're just kind of asserting themselves in map control, and that's exactly what they need to do. They need to keep Italians from jumping back into this game, because I feel like they have a lineup that if you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile, in the sense that once they find farm, once they find levels for these heroes, if their ultimates come together and they kind of wobble you, it could be really deadly. And forcing a reaction on bottom is kind of crucial. And they don't actually get the deny. That's unfortunate. They probably didn't realize the siege creep was about to hit again. And yeah, that deny would have definitely helped them. Let's check out the gold graph right now. It's already a almost 6k lead for Krabba. That is actually huge for this early in the game. And experience is around 3.2k. Experience isn't that bad, but the gold graph really tells a story here. Sometimes, the numbers lie in a lot of cases, in that the game isn't as out of control as the numbers might show, but I think this game is actually pretty true. Bat has a Blink Dagger. That is really, really dangerous for Italians right now, because if he can get a proper pull-off, but no, actually, Krabba is going to back off. They don't want to push their luck here. And like I said, I think they realize that with this lineup, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. I know I repeated that, and it was kind of unnecessary, but hey, whatever. They feel like they have the lead, and why risk it? You know, Jakiro's level 3. He's not going to result for a while if they keep playing like this, and so that's going to work out for them, I guess. But Italians aren't going to give up by any means. You can tell that, you know, they've regained map control with this right here, this little ward, and that's something. You know, that's finding farm for them top. They have basically this little area to farm right now, and they know that they're safe there. So that's more than they had before, and they're going to be happy to take that. And fight is 5 if they have to, which is, you know, probably what it's going to take. And Meepo picking up a point booster, showing that he's going to go Ogden's next. And if they can get some kills on these high-level targets, like a Meepo, who's probably pretty close to 11, yeah, he's 10 now, and Batrider, who's got to be close to 10, he's 9. A kill on that for a level 3 Jakiro would probably be 2 levels. Level 4 now, at least a full level of experience for him, and that's huge. So they really know that they need to take down a high-priority target. Meepo level 10 now, getting his 3rd Meepo out, which is scary, especially if he gets that Ogden's up quick. 4 Meepos in under 20 minutes just can shred a game. Like, literally shred a game. And yeah, like Rudecast said, unfortunately, we usually like to cast together. We're a pretty good team, I think, in that I do more analysis and he's more of the shoutcaster, but I'm trying to do it all alone here, and it's a little not really used to it, so hopefully it goes well enough where, you know, there's not much to complain about. But if I make mistakes, I'm sorry. You know, this isn't really what I'm exactly familiar with, but right now it should be going well. And, you know, I'd like to get some more humor in here, like to be a little sillier, but it's kind of hard when you're by yourself because you don't want to miss something. You know, I'm constantly looking. Generally, when you're dual casting, it's a little easier because when you're being silly, your partner's looking out for things and can make a catch. But right now, I kind of, you know, this is a great time. I could be silly. I could say some really silly stuff. Like, I don't know, what's silly? We were playing Resident Evil earlier, Resident Evil 3, having a good time, making some really weird remarks, which I'm sure... Okay, actually, right now we have a lasso coming on the gyrocopter, an AA blast connecting, and this should be a dead gyro. He put out a lot of damage, but unfortunately they're not going to follow it up. A Nightmare going on the Bane, and it gets cancelled. I'm not sure what actually cancelled it. I think it was actually the Firefly by the Batrider. Meepo blinking in. He's looking for a kill here on the Void. Void has ultimate up. He could just throw out an ult. He doesn't. He time walks away, but he's going to die anyway. Yeah, that was 3 Geostrikes coming out on him, and but Timber here gets a return kill. That's definitely worth it. Timber getting mega kill. Streak is almost 700 gold, and that's a lot of experience for him. Let's check out what happened there on the gold and experience graph. It kind of just plateaued, but hey, that's a win. That's something that they'll probably take, because otherwise it's just been pretty much straight up. So plateau is actually a win for Italians right now. And if this Timber can get some levels, get some items, maybe level 11 at a level 2 ult, he can start putting a lot of pressure on some of these heroes like Ancient Apparition. Even the Meepos take a lot of damage from Chakrams. Some good harass coming out in the Batrider, but he should be able to Firefly out pretty easily. No points in Homing Rocket here, so I think Gyro actually might need to be careful here. This could be, but actually the Rocket Barrage is going to do a lot of hurt. They're kind of both afraid to fully commit, but Timbersaw's going to get a kill here. There's really no reason he shouldn't, and that's 2 kills. The first 2 kills for Italians, both going to Timber. And, you know, he has level 11 now. That's very dangerous for a Meepo. Whirling Death, reducing Meepo's... It's a primary stat, or is it just strength? Primary attribute. So that's going to be agility, not the worst thing for Meepo. Meepo going to find a kill in the gyrocopter there. Sorry, kind of lost control of my mouse. He actually gets a double kill on Hero and Gyro. I don't think they expected that much aggression to come back out right after they had a kill go their way, but that's kind of what Meepo is making them now realize, is that they're never going to be safe with this Meepo on the board. He's going to finish his Ognims in another 1,000 gold, not even, and then that's going to be some beefy 4 Meepos, which are going to be a lot of trouble for Krabba, Italians. But then again, they do, you know, they're not going to be able to interrupt this Rage TP, so Lifestealer gets out fine. And right now they're farming their jungle, but Batrider might find this Void. He has Time Walk up, but at the same time it's level 1. So he's going to have to use Chronosphere if he wants to escape after, oh man, unfortunately Jakiro is just going to go down. There's no way he's not. And Meepo's very close to his Ognims, and not even too far away from level 17. He gets level 17, suddenly there's 5 Meepos on the board, And what do you do? Like, honestly, what do you do against 5 Meepos in 20 minutes? I mean, I'm not saying he's going to get it in 20 minutes, but relatively so. If they don't shut him down, he will have it before 25 minutes, and that is a very efficient time. And he's just going to keep farming out the jungle while still being available for his team. Ice Blast misses, unfortunately, on the Treant Protector, so nothing going to happen there. But Meepos are going to poop out. Gyro pops his ult, and the Meepos are gone. So Ancient Apparition's actually completely alone here. I don't think Italians know that, so they might not go on him. Chakra won't connect, and he will walk out. So, that is the way it goes for them. Return kill there could have been a big deal, but this is probably the time where Rude will come out with a comment like, "What do you think Italians need to do to get back in this game?" Which I would then be able to respond to, but he's not here, and that's going to be a dead gyro. Not much to be said about that. Just another kill going their way, and I don't think Italians are going to GG or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but I think that this is the point where if they don't win the play, this game will just pretty much be out of control. They need to maybe make a smoke, because it's not that the smoke's going to work. I'm not saying that a smoke is like going to win them the game right now. It could very well result in them losing another team fight, but if you don't do something like a smoke right now, you're not going to win, almost hands down, because they're farming more efficient than you across the entire map. And yeah, Treant has a smoke. He's pinned in the jungle. I think they realized they need to make a play here. If Faceless can get a huge ult off, okay, there's a Firefly, there's a Lasso coming in, and that's going to be a dead Faceless, so he's not going to get an ult off. Leech Seed going out on the Meepos, they're just going to come out, and Timber's going to maybe be able to kill this lifesteal. He's going to have to take off his armlet. Oh, if Chakram connected there, that would have been huge, but unfortunately it just does not. Chakram's going to be up again in 1 second. It will hit, and the armlet is probably going to actually end up killing him. Yeah, it's going to take him low enough. He didn't pop it off, which obviously means that it's going to keep draining its health. So that's a killing spree going the way of Timbersaw. Timbersaw having the only 3 kills on the board for Italians. So a lot of is resting on his shoulders, you could say right now. And he did have probably the only lane that was salvageable after the early game, and then he could still find levels, find some experience, because the Batrider couldn't be super aggressive on him. So it's understandable that he is in the best position to change the game. But Gyro still, he has level 2 ult now, could be a big deal. If you land a Chronosphere, get a call down and a Chakram going, that could definitely kill some supports. Meepo even could drop. He has quite a bit of HP on his, on his other Meepos, not outside of his main one, but the right amount of magic damage could definitely pop him down. But he could get his travels here. He could just sell his Tranquils, get travels, or he might just go straight for a Scythe. I think a Scythe would allow him to solo kill anybody on Battalions almost instantaneously. Unless they maybe got a casual cloak, which would make it hard for him to kill some targets like Treant or Timber, but realistically, I think he can solo kill anyone with a Scythe. So we'll see what he chooses to get. They still have that smoke ready, so if they choose to be aggressive here, that will, maybe get them back in the game. But I think a Faceless going Midas, in this game, it's kind of saying we're not going to be able to fight for a long time, and I think they thought, hey, we need our Faceless to get a Midas because we need to take this late game. And Krabba knows that that's their game plan. They know that they want Gyro to get to a point where he can just kind of flat cannon down on his Meepos. We know that they want the Faceless to be able to just ult and wreck a lot of people, but that's going to be a dead Gyro. There's no way around it. Ice Blast going to connect, and Treant tries to come in and do some damage control, but he's just unable to. These Meepos getting really annihilated by the Chakram. But Timber, he might get it. No, he won't even get the Meepo. Meepo getting very low, but it's just not quite enough damage to take him down. And that's 3 kills going for Krabba. Pretty impressive stuff coming out of them. Well-coordinated attacks. A Nike's Bomb almost connects on him, but the haste rune with a Blink Dagger will probably result in his death. He doesn't even get his ult off. Nike's pops out to add a little bit more, and he knows that his ult isn't going to save his life, so he saves it. yeah, it's pretty one-sided at this point. Unfortunately so. And this is why, you know, you ideally like to do a best of 3 series, because best of 1 can always, well, not always, but can very easily be very one-sided, and that these teams don't know each other. So one team gets an early edge, and you know, suddenly they have a huge lead, which is almost impossible to come back from. And that happens to be the lead going to Team Krabba right now. Bane has Nightmare available, and he heals himself with Brain Sap and doesn't even need Nightmare. He banes the gyro, and what can the gyro do after he's, I mean, not bane, but enfeebled? What can he do after he's enfeebled? There's really no damage coming out from his right clicks, because it's level 3 right now, that's 90 damage, and gyro has like 140 damage, so you're reducing his health by effectively a third, and they smoke up, but I think they were right on top of the creeps. Unless Krabba wasn't watching at all, they should know it's coming, and they know that someone's farming this right here, and that they got revealed, but they don't feel comfortable really making a play going into the high ground. Oh, they did have wards too, so yeah, they had vision of this for sure.
So there's that.
Some terrible little lines being drawn by me, and they don't realize this is an image. I think they realize now. No, oh, that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Faceless using an ult to kill an image of a Batrider. It kind of sums up this entire game, not like in terms of bad play, because, you know, I think he just doesn't do the damage. He doesn't really have a good feel for how tanky Batrider actually is with that stout shield, with a good amount of stats from having high levels. So it's understandable that he would do a little damage and be like, oh wow, I'm actually hitting harder than I thought I would, and using that ultimate. But it just kind of sums up the game and the fact that things just aren't working out for Italians in any way. This may be a solo kill, but he time walks out. The flame break actually might help him a little bit. He's trying to re-engage here with living armor. Timber's just going to drop. That Nyx is, or that Lifestealer, sorry, is doing a lot of damage with the Desolator coming out with that armlet popped. He's hitting for like 200 damage a hit, and with the Feast coming out of Timber, he's able to pretty much just burn him down extremely quickly. And a haste turned Batrider means that he's willing to re-engage here extremely quickly. And Meepo already has a Scythe device. So 24 minutes, a Blink Dagger, Tranquil Boots, Ognyms, Ring of the Basilisk, Scythe device. I don't know what else to say about that. That's just very unfortunate for Italians, very fortunate for Krabba, and fortune really isn't the right term, because they earned this. They earned that farm for sure. They've been playing absolutely spectacularly as a team, and I for one would really like to have been able to see another game here. If this was a best of 3, it would be very easy or very interesting to see how Italians would respond to this. But unfortunately for them, you know, because of scheduling conflicts, this is only a best of 1 game, and yeah, I don't want to say it's over, because there's still a chance. You know, breaking high ground is an entire another ballpark, especially when you have big ultimates on the team that is defending. But it's going to be a very, very uphill battle, even though they have the high ground for Italians. And, you know, they have a lot of good, actually, wave-clearing heroes. Gyrocopter's great. Timbersaw is great. Shakiro's great. Basis isn't that good, but they don't really necessarily need it. And a nice ult coming out on top of Bane. I think they'll be able to get the kill here. He might get a Brain Sap, but no, he's unable to. And, you know, you may say a Basis ult for a solo kill on a position 5. But they need it. You know, it's worth it. That position 5 had a killing spree, which went the way of Timber, who has all 4 kills on Italians. Meepo picking up an Aegis just means he can do honestly whatever the hell he wants. Like, quite frankly, just do whatever he wants. He can dive towers, he can do anything. So it's extremely scary right now for Italians. And it looks like Basis is looking to get a Battle Fury, which is good against Meepo in that it hits all of his Meepos, but at the same time, it might be just better to get something like an MKB, which lets you focus down one of them, because hitting all of them doesn't necessarily matter. If you can kill one of them, killing one of them kills them all. So it's really dependent, but then again, you know, it's hard to select the right Meepo, especially when they're taking a lot of AoE damage, which his team has, like, quite a lot of AoE damage. He's probably the only single target hero in the pool. So, I mean, you can say Gyrocopter can be single target, especially with Rocket Barrage, but Flat Cannon and Call Down are 2 extremely strong AoE abilities. And I think this is going to be a base break here coming. Krabba, they're knocking on the front door of Italians. So we'll see what they try to do here. An AA Blast about to come out, and Ice Blast. It will only connect on Baseless, but he actually time shifts it, which is very fortunate for him. Saved himself 250 or so damage. And Batrider getting off a nice lasso here. Grabs the Gyro, who, Overgrowth protected him for a little while, but it wasn't quite enough. Meepo, yeah, just coming in here with that Aegis, asserting himself, and this is going to be a Rax. And it could be even more, because Meepo now with Chilling Touch is just wrecking these towers. He's going to proof down these creeps a little bit. Actually, only one or two of the proofs connect, but that's going to be melee Rax down, followed quickly by a range Rax, and Meepo's already he doesn't care. He's moving on to another tower. Moving on to mid, and they want 2 Rax before that Gyrocopter's up, and the Faceless is up, which is, they have 10 seconds now. That's probably plenty of time for this Meepo, who's just able to put on an incredible amount of damage. And with Desolator, the Raxes really stand no chance. Only 3 armor here for that range Rax, and I think they'll back off. But then again, they have Aegis. They might just say, hell, we're ending the game now. We don't care. And this is the chance for Italians. This is their last-ditch effort here. If they're going to win, it's going to be literally, this is going to be the turning point in the game. A huge phase is all coming out, connecting on so many, but the question is, will they be able to re-kill this Meepo, who's about to come back up? He's going to come up right on top of Treant, and that Treant gets a beautiful overgrowth off. Wow, I'm very impressed by their ability, but then again, these Meepos are huge. It doesn't matter. It's just plain old doesn't matter. That's what Aegis on a hero like Meepo can do. Somehow that Earthbind doesn't hit Furia or Treant, but that's a Rampage. A Rampage going the way of Meepo, and yeah, that's it.
Dyer's top barracks has fallen.
They call GG. Game should end here shortly, and it was a fun little, fun short match, but we saw some very good plays coming out of both sides. Finally, at the end, Italians were able to line up those ultimates and get them off in the proper combination, which was what their entire strat was banking on. They just never really found the team fight necessary to get that off. And when they did, it looked really good, but it was just such a huge advantage for Krabba at that point that it really didn't matter. And that's kind of what happens when you run a Wombo comp. Like, I'm not saying it was pure Wombo, because they did have other things available to them. They could fight with ultimates, but really it came down to aligning those ultimates and getting them down in order to secure the win. And when you don't get your ultimate on a hero like Jakiro till probably the 15-minute mark, a Wombo combo, it just doesn't work out too well for you. And so you have to win the lane phase, which obviously they didn't, which is just because Krabba put on so much pressure. And you got to give credit to Krabba for a really, sparkling performance here.